Welcome back to today's Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a truly fascinating ancient Pali text called the Ratana Sutta. Translated as the Discourse on Treasures, this text it's packed with vivid metaphors, layered cosmology, and honestly some of the most profound philosophy you're going to find in the ancient world. So if you're looking to understand the core pillars of Buddhist thought, framed through this incredibly poetic, mystical imagery, we're going to decode this text together and break down exactly what makes these treasures so incredibly valuable, both back then and right now. Right off the bat, the text opens with this totally ethereal call. Whatever spirits have gathered here, on the earth, in the sky, may you all be happy and listen intently to what I say. I mean, it doesn't begin with some dry academic philosophical argument, right? It starts with a mystical call to the unseen world. It immediately hooks you. It pulls you right into a universe that's just teeming with life, way beyond the human realm. The speaker is actively addressing beings of the earth and the sky, completely setting the stage for a message of absolute cosmic importance. Okay, let's dive right into this. To make this dense, spiritual poem digestible, we've mapped it into 5 sections: a message to spirits, the 3 core treasures, the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, and finally, the path to unbinding. Starting with section 1, a message to spirits. So the text continues its address to the earth and sky spirits with a very specific instruction. It says, show kindness to the human race. Day and night they give offerings, so being heedful, protect them. What we're actually looking at here is a fascinating transactional relationship. In the ancient worldview presented in this sutta, humanity and the spiritual realm are, intimately connected. Humans perform rituals, they give offerings, and in return, it's the duty of the spirits to provide protection and kindness. It sets up this whole universe of mutual reliance before we even get to the primary spiritual teachings. Moving on to section 2, treasure 1, the Buddha. To really understand this first treasure, we need to ground ourselves in a specific term that gets used repeatedly in the text, the Tathagata. Basically, this is an honorific title for the Buddha, meaning the awakened one. The text describes the Tathagata as an exquisite treasure, something entirely unmatched by literally anything else in existence. But, what does it actually mean to be a treasure in this context? Now, what's really interesting here is the explicit contrast it makes between material and spiritual wealth. The sutta boldly claims that whatever wealth exists here on earth, or, whatever exquisite treasures might exist in the heavens or realms beyond, none of it equals the Tathagata. Worldly wealth is temporary, it's subject to loss, and ultimately it just cannot free the mind. The Buddha, as the ultimate spiritual treasure, represents an unparalleled awakening. And acknowledging this truth is actually the absolute foundation for the well-being that the text repeatedly promises us. All right, section 3, treasure 2, the Dhamma. The Dhamma refers to the ultimate truth and the teachings that actually lead you to it. And the text uses some incredibly powerful words to define it. It calls it the exquisite deathless, an ending and dispassion that is discovered in deep concentration. It even calls it the concentration of unmediated knowing. So this isn't just a list of rules to follow, right? It's an unexcelled state of pure truth. It's the ending of the cycle of suffering and the realization of a reality that simply does not decay. The sutta emphatically states that there is absolutely nothing equal to this Dhamma. To help us really grasp the beauty of the Dhamma, the text uses this striking ancient metaphor. It compares the foremost Dhamma to a forest grove with flowering tops in the first month of the heat of the summer. I mean, if you've ever experienced a brutal summer heat wave, you know exactly how desperate and exhausting that feels. In that intense heat, when everything else might seem barren and scorched, this vibrant, blossoming grove provides life, shade, and just profound relief. And that is exactly what the Dhamma offers for the highest benefit. A beautiful, flourishing path leading directly to unbinding, even right in the middle of the heat and stress of worldly existence. Which brings us to section 4, treasure 3, the Sangha. The Sangha is the devoted community of disciples who really apply themselves to this message, and this slide brilliantly illustrates their state of mind. The text compares the true practitioner to an Indra pillar. Now, according to the source notes, an Indra pillar was this massive, incredibly tall, hardwood post planted deep in the earth at the entrance to a village. Even the most violent of the 4 winds literally cannot shake it. Just like that deeply rooted pillar, a person of integrity who has truly comprehended the noble truths develops a mind that is entirely, completely unshakable by worldly forces. But getting to that unshakable state requires a huge, fundamental shift in perception, an event the text calls attaining sight, or entering the stream to awakening. At the exact moment this happens, the practitioner completely abandons 3 heavy psychological chains, or fetters. These are: number 1, identity views, basically the illusion of a solid, unchanging self. Number 2, uncertainty or deep-seated doubt about the truth. And number 3, attachment to mere precepts and practices, which is the mistaken belief that empty rituals alone can bring liberation. Dropping these 3 is an absolutely massive psychological breakthrough. And the results of this breakthrough? They're dramatic. By abandoning those 3 fetters, the practitioner is completely released from the 4 states of deprivation. Looking at the ancient cosmology detailed in the text's footnotes, these are potential rebirths as an animal, a hungry shade, an angry demon, or a denizen of hell. So yeah, no accidentally returning as a furious poltergeist. While the Buddhist cosmology notes that none of these states is eternal, they are states of intense, profound suffering. But that unshakable practitioner we just talked about, they're now permanently safe from ever falling into these realms again. Which brings us to a highly specific and totally critical number mentioned in the text: 7. The Sutta literally guarantees that those who have seen the noble truths clearly, regardless of what minor heedlessness might occur later on, will be reborn at most 7 more times. They will come to no 8th state of becoming. The engine of endless, aimless wandering has been broken, and the finish line is mathematically guaranteed at this point. Furthermore, because their view is now perfectly aligned with truth, they become fundamentally incapable of committing what the text calls the 6 great wrongs. This is an intense, punchy list: murdering one's mother, murdering one's father, murdering an arahant, which is a fully awakened being, wounding a Buddha, causing a schism in the Sangha, or choosing anyone other than a Buddha as one's foremost teacher. The psychological mechanism that would even allow someone to commit these horrendous acts, it simply no longer exists in a mind that has attained true sight. They also literally cannot hide any bad deed they might accidentally commit, because their commitment to truth is just absolute. And finally, Section 5, the path to unbinding. This brings us to the real poetic climax of the text. For those who have reached the end of the path, the old karma has ended, and there is no new taking birth. Their minds are entirely dispassioned toward further becoming. They have no seed, no desire whatsoever for future worldly growth. And the text describes this ultimate liberation with a stunning metaphor: the prudent go out like this flame. It's not a destruction, it's a peaceful extinguishing. A flame that goes out isn't destroyed, right? It's simply unbound from the fuel that was keeping it trapped in burning. It is complete, utter peace. Throughout the entire Ratana Sutta, right after describing each of these profound realities, it repeats a rhythmic, grounding refrain: by this truth, may there be well-being. It's a reminder that recognizing the exquisite value of the Buddha, the liberating truth of the Dhamma, and the unshakable integrity of the Sangha, it isn't just an intellectual exercise. Acknowledging these truths is what actually brings a powerful sense of resolution, safety, and ultimate well-being to both the human and the spiritual realms. So as we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with a thought to connect this ancient framework directly to your modern life. We talked earlier about the Indra pillar, that deeply rooted post completely unbothered by the 4 winds. Ask yourself, what wins in your own life, what anxieties or worldly pressures might you need an unshakable Indra pillar to withstand? Recognizing these treasures might just be the key to dropping your own heavy fetters. Thanks so much for exploring the Ratana Sutta with me today. Keep seeking, keep learning, and I'll see you in the next explainer.